Ashley with Embrace Wellness. I've mentioned that our family likes to live a holistically minded lifestyle. And what that means to me is we try our best to avoid illness, as I think everyone does, but we're really looking at what our body needs to thrive. When we get sick, which will happen, that's inevitable. Again, we're going to kind of look at what our body needs and natural ways that we can treat that. We definitely will use medications if necessary, but I have a holistic medicine cabinet that I'm going to turn to first and definitely try some of those things before I jump to conventional medication. So today I wanted to pop in and share what we do to help keep germs at bay when illness is at its highest risk. And I'm going to focus for the demonstration today mostly on what we do for our children. My husband and I do a variation of this. So I mentioned we first look at what our body needs to thrive to try to avoid illness. So that is definitely trying to get sunshine even in the cold winter months, making sure we make sleep a priority, trying to manage our stress. Even with our little boys, we try to work on that from an early age. We also eat a diet that's high in vegetables, fermented foods, and low in sugar, although that's kind of hard around the holidays and obviously not near as fun. So we do partake in some sugar, but just trying to keep the sugar and processed foods as low as possible. And then all of that's going to really help boost your immune system and your gut health and keep it thriving in its optimal state. So in addition, we do some supplementation, and I've been kind of all over the board with this the past few years, but I do think there's benefit to supplementation. And most of what we try to do and what I'm going to walk you through today are food-based supplements. So I do think that helps. And in full disclosure, I think my husband thinks I'm crazy because we do a lot of different things, but I'm very grateful for him. He's always open-minded and on board to kind of appease me in what I'm wanting to try. So a couple things to keep in mind as we go through this. Most of these things are going to be something you want to wait to do until your kiddo's about 2 years of age. And you probably may not want to start with every single one of them. It's definitely something that we've kind of built on over the years. We also only do this extensive list during those peak months of November to March, and I give my kids a break on the weekend. So there's not really a ton of research behind that, but I feel like Monday through Friday is when they're at the schools around lots of kids that could be having germs, but then also I don't want them to feel like it's a chore to do these things, and I want them to not fight me. So I give them a break on Saturday and Sunday. Most of the products I do are because they are either known to be anti-inflammatory, antiviral, or immune boosting, or a combination of all of them. Okay, so let's get started. So first up is vitamin D3K2. So this is a liquid vitamin dose medication from a company called Biogenesis. The recommended dose is 1,000 IUs per 25 pounds, but during those peak months, we actually do double that. So it just comes with a little dropper, and it's really easy to do after breakfast. I just put 2 drops on their tongue. But the important thing with vitamin D is to make sure it is mixed with vitamin K. Again, this one's K2. And that's going to help make sure that the vitamin D is absorbed and distributed in your body where it needs to be. So next up is bee propolis spray. So it's from a company called Beekeepers Natural. And I would imagine some of you have heard about the benefits of honey and maybe even bee pollen, to help with various things, allergies, colds, those type of things. But bee propolis is kind of newer to me, and I found it kind of fascinating. So according to their website, propolis is a healing resin collected from plant matter and used by bees to line their hive walls. There it acts as an unstoppable barrier against foreign invaders like bacteria, fungus, microbes, and viruses. It has been used for centuries as an immune system regulating agent dating back to 300 BC and has been used for medicinal purposes across the world, both internally and externally. So this is great. It's just a spray. Right after we do the vitamin D drops, I just spray 3 or 4 sprays in the back of their throat. It tastes great. They love it. It's also great for putting on cuts and burns, for those allergies when you're traveling. Super easy to put in your pocket or your bag. Next up is my kiddo's personal favorite is elderberry, and we use an elderberry juice from a company that's local to us in the Kansas City area called Mindfully Made. We do 1 teaspoon every morning, and she has on the bottle adult dosing, kid dosing, and then what to do when your child's symptomatic. but that 1 teaspoon is just the starting out preventative dose. It tastes delicious. She has other good immune boosting ingredients mixed with it, such as honey, cinnamon, clove, and ginger. So vitamin C is the next thing, and we actually last year just did this when one of our kiddos had a symptom, but it didn't make a ton of sense to me that we weren't doing it as a preventative, because we all know vitamin C is good for us in the winter. So I have a couple of different options. I have a food-based vitamin C from a company called Paleo Valley. And so what makes up their supplement is camu berry, amela berry, and unripe Arceola cherry, which is the most potent natural source of vitamin C on earth. They say it's 120 times higher than that of an orange, which is pretty incredible. And P.S. I also have a discount code for you if you are interested in trying this one. It is a capsule, so I just open up the capsule and put in a little bit of applesauce. And then the other one is a chewable. It's from a company called Metagenics. It's ultra potent C. It has a couple of other things in it called lysine and glutathione, which are great at helping fight viruses. And again, some people may just prefer the chewable, but it is not food-based. It's more of a synthetic supplement. And recommended dosing for vitamin C is usually about 250 to 500 milligrams per day. So the number one thing we do that I would recommend if you can only do one thing is X Clear nasal spray. So it's X Clear minus the C, so XLEAR. And I learned about this from a functional medicine provider, and it made total sense to me to help decrease your illness rate and severity. So the rationale behind this is it alleviates congestion if you're actually symptomatic, but from that preventative standpoint, germs can take up to 12 to 24 hours to colonize. So when you're breathing in, you're getting germs in your nose. If you every single night spray this in your nose, it's going to help rinse out all of that gunk that you've acquired throughout the day to help those germs not stick around and colonize into something bad. It also has grapefruit seed extract and xylitol, which has some more germ fighting capabilities. And I mentioned we do this at night. This is the only one we do at night, but it made sense to me to do it at night after we've been around people all day. We just simply spray it in their nose. They're actually of age that they do it themselves, and then just blow their nose to get out all the gunk. Per the website, actually, I wanted to mention it's a drug-free formulation that can be used as often as needed without the risk of addiction or rebound. So again, a very natural substance, which I love. So essential oils play a huge role in our holistic medicine cabinet, and every morning my kiddos will put on their feet a little roller bottle. They just take the cap off, they sit on the ground, roll it on the bottom of their feet, and then put socks on. It has my particular blend, has a protective oil in it that has wild orange, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary, and then I've added a couple other that are good for immune boosting and antiviral. And we just do that once a day, and then I have another one that I use that has some other things in it if they actually get symptomatic. So the last thing we do, prevention, is a homeopathic medication. And I was going to try to say this, but I'll probably butcher it. It's a very long O name here. And we learned about this also from a functional medicine provider. And we used to do it last year when the symptom would arise. It has little packets in it that come in 3 packs, and it has a vial in it. And the instructions were to use 1 vial at a time. You just pop open the cap, shoot these little beadlets into their mouth, and use 3 total within the first 24 hours of an illness. What I learned is that functional medicine actually finds benefit in using it just once a week as a preventative medication. So we added that in this year. And the great thing about homeopathic medications is they've been around forever, like over 200 years. They're considered natural, milder. They help relieve symptoms without side effects or contraindications, which is obviously not the case for most conventional medications. So I know that can feel like a lot. Remember, we just do this all during that short peak winter illness time. And our list has grown as we've kind of trialed and errored throughout the year, but it does work for us, so I feel pretty grateful about that. In the typed details of this post, you'll find all of the links to the specifics, the names, the doses, why we use them, those type of things. And then on the product page, I also have all of that stuff listed under my Holistic Healthcare tab. So quickly, I wanted to walk through what you should do if you get sick, because again, that's going to happen. But remember that hopefully, if you've been doing some of these things or all of these things, you're not going to get sick as often. And when you do, your symptoms are not going to last as long. So most important is let your body rest and staying hydrated. If you're up to it, nutrition is also would be great, and I'll kind of walk you through some things to think about there. So for hydration, obviously just little sips of water is fine, but if it's an extended illness, your body's going to need a little bit more than that. So coconut water is a great thing with some electrolytes in it. Bone broth is good. Herbal teas that have lemon and ginger, that can be drank hot or cool. They can just, all of those can be drank as is. A lot of times my kids aren't up for sitting around drinking that stuff, so I'll make it into a smoothie as the base or a popsicle. And then there's also lots of recipes out there where you can add a little bit of gelatin and get it kind of more like a Jell-O consistency. If they're interested in eating, just making sure they're very easily digestible foods. So soups with some of that bone broth, again, is great. Lots of detoxifying vegetables. If they're up for continuing fermented foods, definitely add that in. And trying to just avoid sugar and probably even dairy would be beneficial. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about bone broth and fermented foods here, but I have thrown around those words quite a bit. So just make sure you do a little bit of research. I have a couple of programs out there that will walk you through those things a little bit more if you're interested, but those may or may not be foreign to you at this point. Feel free to comment and I can help you with any questions you may have to kind of walk you through those. So next up is how we support our symptoms. So most all of these things that we talked about can be increased in dosage because they are natural, and again, a lot of them are food-based. So the nasal spray you can do multiple times a day. The bee propolis, their recommendation is up to 5 times a day. You can add that. Elderberry, her recommendation is every 2 to 4 hours while symptomatic. And then this Boreon homeopathic medication, they have a ton of other options that are very symptom specific. So they'll walk you through, do you have a cough, do you have a fever, do you have body aches, what are the symptoms, even different types of fever onset, different types of coughs, and they'll guide you to a medication that they think is beneficial. They also have a guide on their website, which I've linked as well. So that may be something you want to consider before jumping to more conventional medication. So if your symptoms are more flu-like, a cool bath would probably make them feel better. Add some Epsom salt to detoxify the body. Add some cooling and calming oils like peppermint and lavender. If they don't want to do a bath, you could do just cool rags and add the oils directly onto the rags. Try to keep them in light clothing, not bundled up with a ton of blankets. A humidifier, again, you can add some of those essential oils into the air that way. And then I mentioned that this medication, they can do up to 3 vials within the first 24 hours, and that is in addition to the one you were doing weekly for preventative sake. If it's more cold driven than flu, a humidifier is still great. I have a couple of other things I could share with you. This is from a company called Nature's Way Yumka Cold Care. It's been shown to shorten the duration and severity of colds, and again, it is just a little dropper that you can put on their tongue. I have a homemade chest rub I use that is a great alternative to some of the conventionals. I just use coconut oil. You could add some beeswax in it and melt that up, and it will help get it a little bit firmer with some essential oils, and I have that recipe in the text as well. If there's a cough, straight honey has been shown to be really beneficial, or I have a cough syrup that they could try. But there is a time and a place to get your doctor involved, and I wanted to kind of just run through a little checklist here of when you should call your doctor. If the baby is under 3 months of age, if they're having a fever more than 3 days, although viral can last up to 4 to 5 days, most doctors want to be seen after 3 days, regardless of the age. If they've had a seizure, if they have a compromised immune system, if you feel like they're having difficulty breathing, absolutely. No urination. If they're vomiting, can't keep fluids down, refusing to drink, just unusually sleepy, fussy, inconsolable. They're going to be a little bit tired and drowsy, but you still want to be able to get them up and around and have conversations and arouse them. If they're acting confused, if they have pain in the back of their neck, or if they've improved and then all of a sudden got worse again, I would definitely consider taking them in and getting them checked out. So that's all I wanted to talk about today, but in hopes of getting you kind of jump started on your holistic mindset of treating illness and preventing illness, I have an exciting giveaway for you today. So this will be on my Instagram page, and I believe it's through the 28th, December 28th of 2018. But check the text as well for that, but it'll walk you through what you need to do to kind of get yourself entered into it. But what you're going to get with that giveaway is a bottle of the elderberry, one bottle of the nasal spray, and then a bottle of the bee propolis spray. And then in addition, the lady who makes the elderberry is throwing in one of her new products, which is a chai tea that my husband loves that has some other immune boosting stuff in it. So let me know if you have questions. Shoot me an email, reply in the comments. I should have everything linked for you with various codes and product names, but definitely let me know if I can be of assistance. Thank you. Bye-bye.